Hello everyone, I'm Anarakis, and this is my Epona scene clip setup. Epona scene clip was discovered in 2016, first accidentally by SVA, and then a method was found by the community, but it wasn't very consistent. This is because the trick is near frame perfect and is sensitive to speed, position, and angle. Because of the amount of variables, most people would just fling themselves at the wall with roughly the right speed and angle and hope it would go through. It certainly hasn't been an RTA friendly trick, but it was alright because it was only about 3 minutes into the run. It's currently used only in the Wii Any percent speedrun, but could find other uses in niche categories, like low transforms. The trick grants us access to the Kakariko Gorge portal, letting us do back in time equipped to skip most of the Forest Temple, which saves around 10 minutes in the Wii Any percent speedrun. So, how do we do it? First, if there are any bomb skits close to the clip area, get rid of them. They can scare Epona and make the trick a lot harder. Then the first thing we need is the position. There is a white circle on the ground next to the wall, and we need to line up Epona's back left hoof with it, so that a little bit of the circle is showing, but not very much. It's a little hard to describe exactly where to stand, but it's very important because if you don't get this part of the setup right, it will be impossible to clip. So we need to have a good idea of where to stand. There is a bit of leeway, but it's best to go with roughly the same position every time, with just a little bit of the circle showing. I don't think Epona's angle matters much here, as long as we are roughly parallel to the wall, or slightly angled to the right. I struggled with the position a little here, but here's the position I got, and here's with just Epona's hoof. Next, we need to get the angle. We turn 90 degrees to the right, then back up, and hold slightly forward to make Epona hit the wall. Then we line up Epona so that the center of Link's head lines up with the right side of the tree. The angle is not precise, but I found using this cue to be the most consistent. Then, we need to back up about 13 steps. I hold slightly down on the control stick to keep my angle consistent. We're looking for a long white rectangular splotch on the ground, and there is a black line right in the middle of it. We put Epona's back left hoof right behind that line. Now, all that's left is the clip itself. We need the right speed and animation frame. This is either 1 frame or 2 frames that we're working with, so this is the hardest part of the trick. Epona sways from left to right. We need to dash on a specific part of that animation, specifically just a little bit after Epona is furthest right. Swing your sword, which will let you dash, then press A and don't hold anything on the control stick. Once you reach the wall, you'll need to item wheel buffer. Once you see that you've clipped, hold down on the control stick to stop. That's because if you don't hold down, this happens. Okay, now once more at full speed. First, after checking for bomb skits, which weren't close in this case, we line up Epona's hoof so that just a little bit of the circle on the ground is showing. Then we turn 90 degrees, back up, and slowly go forward. Then line up Epona so that the middle of Link's head is roughly aligned with the right side of the tree. Then we hold ESS down to back up about 13 or 14 steps, looking for the white rectangle and lining up Epona's hoof with the black line. Then we wait until Epona is far right, then swing and press A, and buffer a down input. Then we're free to go and do Gorge Void. There are a few ways that this can fail. Pretty often, you'll just run into the wall without clipping. Most of the time this is due to bad timing, so you can just back up and try again. Sometimes it'll take several attempts, but it should eventually work in most cases. Sometimes Epona will be scared because of a bomb skit, or you could even be hit by one if you're unlucky. It is still possible to clip if Epona is scared, but because Epona just shakes a bunch, visual cues are a lot harder. Sometimes you'll clip upward, which usually means you were either too far left or had too much speed, usually the former. Sometimes instead of clipping, it'll slightly nudge you to the right and fail to clip. I'm not sure why this happens, but this messes up your position, making it harder or impossible to clip. However, from my testing, it is possible to clip with at least 60% of lineups. On average, I get it within 3 attempts for any given lineup, but some can take a lot longer because it is really precise. This setup is about 25 seconds slower than a first try setupless attempt, and each time we retry it, or in other words, each time that we hit the wall and have to back up and try again, takes about 15 seconds. This is more consistent than setupless by a long shot though, so it's probably worth it even with the lost time. I should mention that the visual cues become harder to see once the sun sets, so it's best to get it fast. To close off, I'd like to give a few shoutouts. First, shoutouts to Kipcode, who helped me with the setup by analyzing position and angle data. And shoutouts to Habrino, who taught me a bit about the trick in general. I'd also like to give a shoutout to the Twilight Princess speedrunning community in general. This game has been fantastic to run, and shoutouts to zeldaspeedruns.com, which is a fantastic resource for learning this game. I run various categories of this game fairly regularly on my Twitch channel, so be sure to follow if you'd like to see more. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.